you go there on their homepage, which I don't want to leave because sometimes when you're doing live sessions, websites disappoint you. Go on the homepage and learn what they're all about. I think in Unit 1 we did use their model. There is no point in you actually, first of all, bombarding them with questions before you read what they are about on their website. Most nations nowadays have got websites. Most embassies, high commissions have got websites. That's where you actually first of all go. Let's see what the website of the Zambian High Commission sort of information they have on the site, because the information you see on the site, it gives you an idea of what they do and what they cannot do. Therefore, it gives you a direction of what you will be interfacing with them. Sometimes your ideas might actually trigger new ways of opening services at these high commissions or embassies. So it's a two-way thing. Your thinking will enhance development. Let's have a look very quickly at the site, which is already on the screen there. If you go there on their homepage, which I don't want to leave because sometimes when you're doing live sessions, websites disappoint you. Go on the homepage and learn what they're all about. I think in Unit 1 we did use their model. Now, if I go on economics, already the headlines there, the hyperlinks tells me that actually these are some of the things which are on offer or what you can find in the embassy. An overview. So whatever is not on the link there is not really part of them. So let's have a look. I'm interested in economics. One of the bullet points in the Unit 2 is economics. I go on economics. We see the frequently asked questions and inquiries. There's ministries over there. There's important documents. Now, sometimes it's good to look at, hey, what are the frequently asked questions? Maybe your question has been addressed in that. That's the first point of call. If you go through that, and I'm glad they put in that bit on the Zambian High Commission website. If you go, let me get out of your way for a bit. I shall be back so we can see each other face to face and smile. Okay, I go out of the way for a bit. Let's have a look here. There you go. Frequently asked questions. What is the procedure for investing in Zambia? So already some of the questions that you have are answered. They've put on their site all the answers. Okay, and that refers to big investments, and everything is there. And another question, why invest in Zambia? And they've put on the answers over there. So already you are having an idea of what sort of things they do there. What are incentives? What other incentives are there for one to invest in Zambia? You're being answered. What investment opportunities exist? The answers are over there. Just read them for yourself. How long does it take to obtain an investment license? There you go. Answers are over there. And I can see they've put Zambia Development Agency ZDA there. What permit will I get as an investor? There you go. They've answered you there. How long is the investment license valid for? You've been answered over there. 8, people ask questions here. Number 8, import and export tariff permits. There you go. You are answered there. What do I have to do to buy land? You are answered over there, and they put useful links. Times of Zambia, BBC, Daily.mail, etc., etc. So this way, as a person who has interest in doing some investment or some linking to Zambia, you begin to have an idea from the government point of view what sort of things they can offer you or what sort of questions they can answer. Now that was just an interest on economics and development. Let's see what other things they can do. Let's let me get out of your way so we can scroll it together. Right. You might want to go to the ministries if it does work. Let's if this link works, because today I'm teaching at midday systems as well. Very good. It's working. Thank you, God. So you begin to learn about the ministries of that nation. Here we're using example of Zambia because the Zambian, and I've worked with, I've linked with the Zambian High Commission, and there's some things that I understand now, and the facilitation. Here we go. Ministry, State House, Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry. For those who want to link in terms of trade and commerce, there is a department of Ministry, Trade and Industry. So I'm sure they put a link actually there. It's the website link. There's Ministry of Health, Ministry of Finance and National Planning, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. They put major ministries over there. So in that nation, if it's Ghana, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Togo, Uganda, Australia, any country you want to dovetail, go to their website. Because you don't live in that country, you want to do some development. Why just pick up a phone call at random and ring anybody on the ground? It's better you ring a high commission or an embassy, then they will guide you. And I suppose most embassies will have a department which deals with the trade and trade and investment. They might have that, or directly commerce, trade and industry. There must be a department. There must be all departments that represent all this. I don't know, but what I'm asking you on this course is to go and research, become aware of the role of embassies. Once you understand the role of embassies and put it into context, let's go back. Let's go back to the board and see what we can conclude. Once you understand the role of embassies, I'll bring myself back, the role of embassies, then as you're developing an idea here, you know which department to want to go and link yourself in. Now, let's assume this, let's assume this facet here is a role of an embassy, and another one here is another row of the embassy, and another one here, I just want us to create this together, is another row of the embassy. All these corners here are rows of embassy, or a high commission. So when you begin to formulate an idea and you're ready to fly into that country, surely it'll be wise for you to actually do the following. Very simple and straightforward. Are we just going to use which line? Any of them, actually. Okay, let's just draw that red line here. So it'd be wise for you now to link, let's imagine that is trade and industry, commerce, because you want to establish a business there. You link to that department, embassy, then they will advise you or speak to you, they fire back information to you and tell you of what to do. It might be that then, because we know that the embassies are actual governments on the ground abroad in that nation they are resident. They are in Zambia, for example. This compartment, let's call it a ministry or an agency. And another one, I want us to understand this topic and the way things can work. I'll use another color. No, that red is too thick. I want to use a thin one. For some reason, let me use a black. There is another compartment. Okay, all these, that, let's imagine that is, I'll just put 16 there. This is a ministry called Z. All right, and this is another ministry called M. Okay, put M. Now, when you link with an embassy or high commission, as the case might be, they might even actually, if such a plan that you're making is a good plan and it's something that's viable, they might then link you directly to an appropriate agency or government agency, which could be a regulatory organ in that country. Are you with me? So that they might link you they might actually link you with the appropriate ministry or agency. It could be a facilitation. For example, in Zambia, Amakaya Wingi organization which I subscribed to was linked to Zambia Development Agency because they deal with investment and many other areas for development in SMEs and business as the case might be. So it was found appropriate to be linked to that agency. So when we go into Zambia and we want to find out or want to do real business development, we go to Zambia Development Agency. Therefore, many questions which we could have been struggling trying to find out from individuals on the ground are answered by an authority, and it's final. So that way you find that your idea has been linked to an embassy or high commission in the country where you live. For example, I'm Zambian and I want to invest in Zambia knowledge-wise or business-wise. I must go to my high commission. Then they will look at the protocols of the program that I want to take into Zambia. Then they say, this one can now be, this information they're giving back to me, they are now telling me what will happen. And once things are right and put into the right context, they then would link me to an appropriate agency on the ground in Zambia. And what happens from there now, the next minute I actually fly, I take my flight, for example, the next minute, I decide to do what? I decide to do what? To fly. To fly means what? You jump in an airplane. First you pay a ticket. You buy a ticket. The moment I decide to fly to Zambia, to do what? To now go and implement. Because once I'm linked and must invest in some money to fly to Zambia or to that country and meet with the agency to which I was introduced. It might be that the High Commission or Embassy might give you a cover letter to be introduced, but in the world of emails, they might have sent some emails or picked up a phone call and called the person that this gentleman will be coming. And then you also back up with an email following our conversation with the High Commission, trade and industry department, whatever it is, the attaché, whatever it is, I hereby say, I would like to come and visit you physically and be pointed in the right direction and look at the logistics. Then there you go with information and the backing of the actual custodian of policies. Because a business is not a standalone. It must abide by policies. It must abide by regulations. And for you to go in nicely, you must link with high commissions. Walk in there. And I said before, like I said, first look at the website. The contact details are there. Phone them, speak with them, make an appointment, and they'll receive you. So here we've dealt with two aspects. Now, your idea of wanting to go and share some developmental issues and the role of the embassy and how you can go about it practically. And as for the actual details, the nitty-gritty of how you operate and how you intend to run your business on the ground, that is left to you based on the information that you will find in terms of regulations and also the viability of your own business. That is another topic altogether. And if you're on this course, I think Unit 1, 2, and 3 that does answer some of those problems. By and large, I'd like you to take a little break here and look at your own business needs. What are these needs? Have you identified a need that you have actually thought can link well? And how do you do this? Now, this will take us to another topic within the diaspora. And I want us to look at, let's go back to the objectives. Here, we have talked about the role of embassies in a nutshell, and how you can work with them in economic development and charitable contribution to the country they represent. And we have actually talked about how you can link your work to the country of origin for development. It's always essential for you to go through the normal channels, and that way you can answer so many questions very quickly. Okay, now in terms of that sort of scenario also tells us how embassies can actually work with their local communities. In the reverse here, embassies can become also proactive by setting up workshops. I just want to emphasize that point. the embassies can actually now also have a department that does outreach, community outreach. You, D here, you represent a community. Embassies can set up actually here community outreach sessions where they invite what? They invite their nationals. And I'm going to use a diamond here. This outreach program, the embassy could set up, or High Commission could set it up to actually inform who? Their nationals on how they function, and how they can facilitate their nationals about regarding any event or any contribution they want to give to their countries. And on this platform, some things the embassies can also do as follows. I just type here. Number one, they can share. What they can do, they can share what? They can share vision. Whose vision? Their country's vision. Their country's vision, or the government vision. They can share vision so that the nationals who live abroad, they also understand and know where their nation is going based on who is running it. So they can do what? They can share vision. In the vision, they can also share projects. They can also share what? Projects. They can also share investment requirements, investment needs, meaning which areas they want investment. Why? Because the people that have traveled abroad, they have something they've learned that they can contribute. They can also share a general governance, information, or updates. Because people always want to learn about how governments are featuring challenges and so forth, because answers can be found anywhere. Share the vision of the, you can share the vision there. You can share the vision there. I'll bring up the screen here. You can share the vision there. You can share the vision there. Sorry about that. I just bring my face up. That's what I was trying to do. I want us to see each other. It's good to talk face to face. They can share vision, projects in the country, investment needs, general governance, all updates, and many, many other development issues. So now these platforms become an interface between the people in that country and the embassy or High Commission. And when this happens, there is an informed community. Even when developmental ideas are developing here, they know really what to do and how to go about it. So that the random falling on the ground just to find your feet by yourself does no longer become the number one. What becomes number one is to get things solidified and be linked officially on the ground. Then when you choose to involve many other people, you have been well informed, and your project can take off, at least by my understanding, can take off better than it would have been if there was no information. So we see in this session the role of the embassies. We see how you can link yourself into a country of origin, and we see how embassies can dovetail with the community where they are now resident. We go back a little bit. In that way, when embassies, for example, let me just do this. When embassies, for example, are now linked with their communities, there is more development that can now be harnessed. Let me say, there's more likelihood to harness the diaspora manpower or diaspora strength or resources into the country of origin. Why? Because now there's a wonderful, warm, informed relationship. Now, as a person living in the diaspora, this is going to be very good for you, because you would no longer be an alien to your own country. Why? Because you'll be regularly informed. You yourself, you can instigate because you know which department to contact the High Commission, and then they can come and facilitate it. In Zambia, we have broken these barriers for many years. For example, an organization called Amakaya Wingi, which I'll bring up very good on the website. Excellent, is still there. This organization began inviting high commissions to the platform so that they can be informed of the objectives and facilitate such. For example, Amakaya Wingi is an initiative that focuses on prompting the mainland Zambians and those living in diaspora to work together in investment and business ownership. They say we do also work with Friends of Zambia, and currently many well-meaning organizations have joined us in conferences. Now, if you see here very quickly, I'll start, this is not yet updated. In 2012, we are privileged to have continued relationship with the mission and have made continued links with the, at that time it was His Excellency Keno Bizwan Konika was the High Commission. Now there is also an event that took place recently in June 2013, where we received the new Zambian High Commissioner, Mr. Paul Lumbi. These links are there to facilitate the innovation of Zambians living abroad and the linking of those innovations back to the country of Zambia. So any other nation, we are praying that as you go through this topic, you can be proactive in doing these things. So as you're on this course, we want you to become proactive in the way you plan development for your own nation that you have come from. Now, before we go, I would like us very quickly to look at P5. At this stage, you should be able to produce evidence in this realm. What evidence can you produce as a result of this session? We want a write-up from you. State a minimum of 3 things, and an embassy does. State, give in general terms, or specify one of your embassies. Could be a Ghanaian embassy, Nigerian embassy, whatever it is, Togolese embassy or High Commission. Then P3, describe 2 or more ways in which a diaspora person can link their account to their country of origin. This has been discussed. I want you to produce that information. You have to produce what? I think here you can actually just use Word package to produce materials in bullet points only, wherever possible, and describe those ones in bullet points. Identify and describe at least 1 or more ways in which you can contribute to the economic or any given development of your origin, country of origin. We haven't tackled this one, but I want to mention very quickly because this is very essential. Let me go back to the to the screen board and bring up some issues here. Now, I'll bring this point up for you and then discuss it thoroughly well. I want us to look at this point. I want us to look at this point very well. How do you actually start, what was the question here? How would you contribute to the economic development? How would you contribute? The question is, how do you contribute? What is the starting point? How do you contribute? That's a big question. I ask you this question. How do you contribute? The answer is found in this. I'd like us to go back to this point. This is where it's critical. You understand why we are doing this. How do you contribute? Here. Can you see this point? Here. When a vision is shared, from the government's perspective through the High Commission or through any means, this is where I actually say the job begins. When you share the vision based on what? The projects and the investment needs. This is my baby. I like this very much. Why? Because that is measurable for me. By me, that is measurable. What's measurable, I'm going to put stars on it. Okay. Now, for you to be able to contribute to that, you must know from the government targets, businesses that on the line. Let's have a look. Let's have a quick look at the Zambian High Commission. What are the things they are looking at? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Frequent asked questions. I think that is where we find. Let's have a look. What are the areas? What are the areas of importance? What are the areas they are looking at? This is where you can start from, my dear friend. Okay, let's have a look. Here we go. Please click below to download the document, Investor Guide Handbook. So, when you see the Investor Guide Handbook, this is a guide to what the actually Zambian government is looking to show you. Let me double click on the Zambia tourism. Oh, it's not opening. I should have downloaded that first. So go to the documents released, which are showing the targets, where areas they're looking for investment. This is how you can contribute. Look at the investment needs, the projects, and what the vision is all about. Then you can extrapolate those stars and link to an appropriate department at the High Commission, obtain documentation, obtain necessary licenses, and now what do you do afterwards? You seek. What do you do? You seek to be linked. To be linked. It's not always easy. Then you seek to be linked to an appropriate platform. First of all, you looked at what is needed, what are the gaps, what are the economic needs on the ground. If you did an independent survey, for example, because you've got the right, you're a citizen, you didn't go through this route, you went there and you had linked yourself with other organizations and you came up with some answers. When you come back here, ask me how much money you're going to save by going through this route. You understand? How much money you're going to save by going through this route? Yeah, let me use this ink. I want you to answer me this question. I want you to answer me this question. Yes, yeah, let me use beautiful, that one, green. How much money would you save by going through this route I've described, where you work with the embassy and they have information they can give you just like that while sitting in your room in, for example, I'm based in Warsaw, I'm in Warsaw, I pick up a phone call, I go to the High Commission. It cost me £35 to go there, or a phone call cost me less. Compared to a flight, the information they can provide here, I fly for it, and I stay there 2 weeks. Bed and breakfast, how much does it cost me? Maybe staying for 2 weeks or 1 week, let's say 1 week, it cost me £500 on bread and breakfast only, and local travel, and another £500 in flights, because the ticket I bought, plus the money I give away to people because I've met them. These things happen because you've seen people, you think you're obliged to do so. So you find that instead of spending the £2,000, right, to go and seek for my own information, I will only spend how much? Probably £35, a return ticket. In 1 day I can get information I want rather than flying. I only have to fly when I've put everything together. You understand? I will only have to fly when I've put everything together and I'm confident the document is now solid for me to present and kick off a business. So in terms of knowledge and the using of the facilities which are within your reach, you can even save money and time. Ciao. Thank you very much on this. I'm trusting God that you are learning, and it's going to be fruitful for you and me as we learn together on this course. Very valuable for every single person, whether you live in the diaspora or not in the diaspora. This course is for you, and I pray that you're going to use the materials. I will emphasize for those submitting materials for assessment, do so promptly and look at the assessment criteria, what it says, and what it says is what goes. And I take you back to the objectives. In conclusion, we have now covered what is necessary for the few outcomes in terms of these materials. Awareness of community needs and government targets for community development. You can send those documents through the High Commissions or embassies, and how embassies can work with local communities. We've covered that aspect. Understand the role of embassies and how to work with them in economic development. We've covered in that discussion. And how to link your work back to your country of origin. We have covered details in that aspect. Now, in all that, we are actually becoming good citizens in the country of where we're living in, because we are becoming productive. We are being productive. We are linking initiatives that can necessarily bring us up in terms of development. If you're well developed, you become a good citizen in that country because you contribute to development as well. But we're going to get the meat of that topic in the next session. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Make sure you submit your work on time. The website that you need to log on to is www.westmidlandcollege, no, www.westmidlandsopencollege.co.uk, or just look at what comes up on the screen. Thank you very much. Signing off, it's me, Dr. John Lukomona.